Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. The Premier has revealed working 46 days straight led to physical and mental exhaustion, resulting in his week-long absence from Parliament. Peter Gutwein has returned with a renewed focus on charting the state out of COVID as the business community pushes for a vaccine passport to be implemented in Tasmania.
The Premier returning after a week off work to rest.
Good morning. Well, could I just start by saying it's good to be back.
Falling ill on Monday.
It's as simple as this. My body's not a machine. I hit the wall and I was quite unwell.
Working 46 days straight in the lead up to the state budget, resulting in the decision to shift some of his responsibilities. Roger Yange will take on his climate change portfolio, Sarah Courtney scoring tourism, while Peter Gutwein remained treasurer.
These changes will ensure that I can focus on charting our pathway out of COVID.
Growing support from businesses for a vaccine passport to be implemented.
We know that the business community is suffering. There is no doubt that there are small businesses across the state who are really struggling at the moment. Our tourism industry has taken a massive hit.
Almost 2/3 of businesses surveyed in favour.
The same idea that's being used in Europe could be a very good one for the state, where those that are fully vaccinated from around Australia could visit Tasmania once they can show that they have their vaccine in place.
Health Consumers Tasmania says the reaction from the community has been mixed.
There's quite a few people who support a vaccine passport, and there's a large group in the community who are nervous that it'll impact on their personal rights.
The Premier says he won't implement one until every Tasmanian has had the opportunity to be vaccinated.
If you're prepared to get vaccinated, but somebody else isn't, then there should be a concession. There should be benefits that you receive.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Australians returning from the United Kingdom are set to touch down in Hobart tonight. It's only the second repatriation flight Tasmania has received throughout the pandemic. Our reporter Meg Sides is at the airport. Meg, when are they expected to land?
Good evening, Louise. Well, we were expecting the flight to arrive at around 6:30 tonight. That's now been delayed until around 8 p.m. Now, we'll be carrying 174 Australians returning from the UK. Each of those travellers has been required to return 2 negative COVID tests before boarding the plane. Once they arrive in the state, they'll be transported to the Ibis Hotel. Staff working there have had their COVID vaccinations and strict protocols are in place to ensure the virus doesn't spread if it is picked up in quarantine.
That we could potentially have up to a handful of cases. Tasmanians need to ready themselves for that, but they will be in quarantine and they will be appropriately managed.
As you said, Tasmania has only received one international repatriation flight in the past. That was last December from Delhi. Now, tonight's flight does, of course, help with the national effort, freeing up hotel quarantine space in other states for those fleeing from Afghanistan, Louise.
All right, thank you for that, Meg Sides. Tasmania's dads were out and about today with a number of activities taking place across the state to mark Father's Day. Some opted for morning exercise, while others took the plunge to raise money for medical research.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? The man of steel spotted abseiling down the casino this morning for the Royal Hobart Hospital's Medical Research Foundation.
We've got our grant round for 2022 under consideration at the moment. We've had over 40 submissions and in combination they total just under $6.4 million.
The Edge abseil raising more than $40,000, with this year's theme being Do It for Dad.
Celebrating what we can do to support our dads. There are several folk that are here because dads are no longer with us.
It was Father's Day with a twist for this group of dads as they wiggled down.
To share something like this with our kids down cheering us on is amazing.
I've got my daughter and wife down the bottom and a few other family members watching, so it's really good to have them supporting me.
Some overcoming their apprehension of heights.
Not great with heights usually, but it's once in a lifetime kind of opportunity to do this sort of thing.
For those wanting to keep their feet on the ground, Glenorchy's Colour Splash was the activity.
It was muddy, very colourful. Very colourful.
Families running, jumping and climbing in support of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
And we wanted something a bit different, and this is really special and unique to celebrate the relationship that fathers have with children.
This dad and daughter duo know the power of a wish coming true. Georgia Lancaster, who has cystic fibrosis, received a puppy through the foundation.
She decided that she was going to go for a puppy, and the rest is history.
He's an emotional and mental support, as well as a physical support and an excuse to get exercise.
A well-earned quiet evening ahead for many. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, it was a very special Father's Day for a select few at the Launceston General Hospital, with 2 babies born today. Jerry Lav and his wife Sasha welcomed their second boy Charlie into the world.
You're a dad on Father's Day. How do you feel?
I'm blessed. I'm privileged.
It was pretty quick, surprisingly quick.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it.
He says he loves being a father, but he's bracing for a lack of sleep over the coming months. And 60 riders have celebrated Father's Day whizzing around Symmons Plains for the latest round of the Road Racing State Championships. The daring sport has developed into a family affair, with one father and son even lining up against each other.
Off the track, Grant and Ben Boxall are father and son. On the track, they're racing rivals.
We don't actually see that much of each other on the track, you know, unless there's a breakdown or something.
Why, because you're out in front?
Yeah.
I'd like it if I was a little bit faster and I could probably hang on the tail of him.
In Ben's defence, his old man possesses a wealth of experience and a much more powerful set of wheels. But with speeds tipping 200 kilometres an hour, the parental instincts still kick in.
I'm sort of always a bit worried about him.
Road racing is certainly in the blood of most at the 3rd round of the state championships at Symmons Plains.
A large community of them and a few father and daughters as well, so it's a real family affair.
Even grandfathers. Barry Lack retired from the racing circuit in the 90s and only returned to the scene 2 years ago when his fearless grandsons Brodie and Lockie hopped on a bike.
To see a generation coming through, absolutely fantastic.
His decades of track experience has proved very useful for the young riders.
And the second pop come out and told us a few things. Our times dropped dramatically.
It's really special to have him out here and help us.
After a few concerning years, officials say interest in the sport is roaring back. With families at the forefront, it's easy to see why. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian 1500 metres runner Dion Kenzie says his bronze medal win at the Paralympics is unbelievable and means so much to him. After a slow start in wet conditions, the 25-year-old made his move to keep pace with the front of the pack. He was second heading into the final straight before being chased down in the dying stages of the race.
To come away with a bronze medal is just absolutely surreal. So, I've worked towards this race for the last 12 years now, so, it's just unbelievable to be here.
It's Tasmania's first medal at the Paralympic Games. The TSL Grand Final will be an all-northern affair for the 2nd year in a row after Launceston defeated Clarence in the preliminary final. The Blues were too strong for the Roos in the 52-point win as Jeremy Webberley's Clarence coaching career ended in defeat.
The talk regarding the state of Windsor Park disappeared today as a spot in the grand final became the focus. It was tight early on, Launceston kicking the only 2 goals of the first term.
Umpire does not move.
Both sides firing up on the siren after this off-the-ball incident. Cody Thorpe set to face scrutiny for his role. 3 goals in 3 minutes had the Blues up by 30 points early in the second term.
Hodge for goal, he's got it, yes he has!
They had a scare with Michael Musica crunched in this heavy collision. However, he eventually returned. Clarence taking 7 minutes into the second quarter to finally score a goal. That started a run of 3 in a row as the Roos fought back.
Takes a bounce, takes 2, runs the 50 Gardner, long drop punt, it's a goal! Wonderful goal for the Roos. They're back in this prelim.
2 late Launceston goals steadying the ship. The Blues leading by 25 at the main break. They got the first 2 of the third as well, with the margin soaring past 6 goals. Clarence trying to fight on, but were unable to break through the Blues' pressure. A 3-goal-to-1 premiership quarter giving Launceston a 36-point lead at 3-quarter time. And there would be no slip-up from the Blues as they powered away in the final term. 3-goals-to-1 sealing them a spot in the grand final.
goal. Sealed it. Jay Blackberry, he books Launceston's spot in the grand final.
North Launceston awaits them next Sunday. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
In the NPL, Clarence has snapped a 6-game winless streak with a big win over Launceston City. After a goalless first half, the Zebras took control in the second. They slotted 3 goals in 15 minutes to set up the win. James Ackley and Riley Dillon scoring 2 goals each as Clarence eventually won 4-1. Meanwhile, a goal in each half helped 4th place Kingborough defeat Olympia at Lightwood Park. The final round of the season will be played next week. Tasmanian racing driver Alex Peroni will abandon the final 3 rounds of the US Indy Lights Championship to explore new opportunities in Europe for next year. It ends an underwhelming American stint in which the 21-year-old recorded just 1 podium finish from 14 races. The Hobart native thanked Tasmanians for their support.
Good evening. Top temperatures today in Launceston reaching a high of 16, 15 degrees in Burnie and Devonport, and a top of 14 for Hobart. Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park both 15, while Smithton and Low Head were not much further behind and 14 degrees. 13 was the top for King Island, Flinders Island and St Helens, 12 for Strahan and 7 in Lyweenie. Looking at the clouds, a band extended over the south and western half of Tasmania and some cloud about the east. And Australia-wide, a frontal band extends from the Northern Territory to the Tasman Sea, swelling into a low just east of Victoria. Tomorrow the high continues over the Bight and a cold front lies over the Tasman Sea with another approaching New Zealand. Southwesterly winds will reach up to 35 knots about the lower east during the early morning and swells up to 4 metres in the south in the late evening. A gale warning is current for lower eastern and southern coastal waters from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point, and a strong wind warning is current for all remaining coastal waters for Storm Bay and the southwest lakes. To tomorrow's forecast, 15 and partly cloudy for Hobart, a shower or 2 for Dover and Ouse. Launceston will be mostly sunny in 16 and similar conditions there for Devonport and Scottsdale. Late showers and 15 degrees for Burnie and Stanley, Strahan with a top of 13. And St Helens a sunny 16, mostly sunny in Swansea and Ross, reaching 17 and 15 degrees. Taking a look ahead to the 3-day forecast, showers about the west and far south and central areas on Tuesday, clearing in the afternoon. Wednesday, partly cloudy for most of the state with some strong northwesterly winds, and showers across the state on Thursday and gusty northwesterly winds shifting west to southwesterly in the afternoon. For the rest of Australia, 26 and sunny in Perth, early showers in Melbourne and 17, sunny for Canberra, 19 and partly cloudy in Sydney, and mostly sunny for Brisbane with a top of 23. And it's currently 11 degrees in Hobart and Launceston and partly cloudy for Devonport, reaching 10 there. That's all for now, and a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there watching tonight. Back to you, Louise.
Thanks for that, Tiani. That's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Kim and the team will be back with you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.